OpenAI deploys $4 billion enterprise AI service. Embedding dedicated AI teams inside client organizations shifts the engagement from software licenses to ongoing operational control. Systems integrators now find themselves competing directly against the model builder for internal headcount budgets rather than just reselling access. Legacy players will likely accelerate their acquisition sprees over the next 6 months simply to hold onto mid-tier enterprise accounts that demand embedded support. Watch what happens to the API margin when this hits enterprise SLAs and custom workflows become the default. Watch Microsoft finds AI agents unreliable for long tasks. Most benchmarks celebrate short wins, yet the Delegate 5.2 results expose how quickly context drifts once tasks stretch beyond a dozen steps. Document corruption rates spike in multi-step professional flows because models lose track of prior constraints without explicit re-anchoring. Expect vendors to push hybrid human-AI review layers as standard within the next year rather than pure autonomy. The reliability gap will widen the moat for firms already selling workflow orchestration instead of raw model access as buyers demand auditable checkpoints. Google leaks Gemini Omni conversational video system. Natural language video editing sounds simple until every prompt rewrite triggers a full re-render across the entire timeline. The leaked system appears to maintain state across multiple turns, which changes the economics for creators who currently pay per generation rather than per session. Expect shorter-form platforms to add persistent context features within 9 months or watch their power users migrate to conversational interfaces. The real test arrives when enterprise compliance teams require full, detailed version history that survives iterative natural language changes. Sakana AI launches multi-model orchestration tool. Routing tasks across competing frontier models based on reinforcement learning flips the usual assumption that bigger single models win on every query. Early tests suggest cost reductions of 30% on mixed workloads without sacrificing output quality. The bigger shift comes when orchestration layers start negotiating API terms in real time based on live performance feedback loops that reward cheaper, successful paths. This forces OpenAI and Anthropic to expose more granular pricing signals or lose routing share to smarter conductors running the show. Musk OpenAI trial hits closing arguments. Inside the courtroom, the debate has narrowed to one clause in the original charter. If the judge rules that OpenAI breached its nonprofit roots, every current enterprise customer faces a choice between renegotiating or walking. That outcome would hand Microsoft leverage it has never enjoyed before. Watch for renewed pressure on model access pricing within 9 months as legal teams rewrite procurement playbooks. The spectacle masks a quieter scramble over who actually owns the weights and the subsequent training runs. Graduates boo AI mentions at commencements. The boos reveal more about job market fears than any philosophical stance on the technology itself. Top computer science departments now watch their placement rates with the same anxiety that once greeted Wall Street banks. Within a year, expect Stanford and MIT to expand ethics requirements while cutting industry-sponsored AI projects. Recruiters from the frontier labs will face empty info sessions unless they start talking about alignment roles instead of scaling clusters. The next cohort is voting with its feet. Pope Leo's encyclical to address AI risks. University chaplains report a sudden spike in student questions about machine consciousness that no syllabus prepared them for. The encyclical will likely give cover to Catholic pension funds already reviewing their holdings in the sector. Expect several major asset managers to screen out frontier model developers within the next 12 months to avoid pulpit pushback. European regulators gain an unexpected moral ally that complicates any attempt to soften the AI Act before the next election cycle. Ken Griffin, AI agents replace PhD finance roles. PhD pipelines into quantitative finance lost their clearest value proposition. The real shift hits not at entry level but in the mid-career ranks where teams once spent quarters stress-testing strategies that agents now iterate overnight. Citadel's peers will have to match the speed or watch alpha decay as faster agents capture the same signals first. Within 18 months, expect fewer new quant funds launched from academia and more internal AI infrastructure budgets. The credential becomes a latency cost. Malta First Nation with nationwide ChatGPT Plus. Malta's rollout turns every citizen prompt into a live A/B test for model reliability under real constraints. Regulators get a year of telemetry that private labs would pay millions to access. Those results will shape Brussels policy faster than any white paper. Smaller EU states are already circling similar offers. Usage spikes during tax season will tell the real story. This forces Google to match the free tier in one member country or cede compliance ground. Recursive superintelligence raises $4.65 billion. Self-improving loops still collapse once synthetic data starts reinforcing its own mistakes. Tianyongdong's raise buys 18 months to prove the curve bends upward instead. Most observers expect plateaus by late next year. The first sign will appear in internal eval scores that stop improving after 2 cycles. Investors are pricing in the upside anyway. If the bet pays off, OpenAI and Anthropic must either license the technique or watch their fine-tuning costs double just to stay competitive. EY withdraws AI study over fabricated data. Big Four reports on AI security have relied on opaque datasets for years. One withdrawal now puts every prior claim under suspicion. Clients will start requiring source code and raw logs before paying for the next slide deck. EY's move sets a precedent the other 3 firms cannot ignore without looking complicit. Regulators in financial services are already rewriting vendor assessment checklists. That single change could cut the market for paid research in half inside 2 years. Amazon makes Alexa a persistent AI shopper. Alexa now tracks prices across sessions without users repeating the same query twice. That continuity turns casual browsing into automated replenishment for staples. Rivals without an always-on device in the home lose the first-mover slot on habit formation. Early data from the pilot shows reorders happening 3 times faster than app-based flows. Margins on those recurring orders will decide whether voice commerce ever turns profitable. Walmart must accelerate its voice features or lose repeat purchase share.